Fellas, we're going down a steep mountain grade here. As you can see, we are in the mountains of Pennsylvania, and it's snowing out. It's cold. The road's a little bit slippery. We're in the Volvo 770 with the Cummins ISX 500. It has the Eaton Road Ranger auto shift, 10-speed transmission. And the one thing I wanted to point out, check out that guardrail right there. Somebody almost flew off the side of the mountain there.
I would say they did.
Yeah, kind of sketchy. But driving the HDT versus my 1-ton F450, the tail doesn't wag the dog. By that I mean the trailer doesn't control the truck. The truck controls the trailer much better. And coming down this mountain, I didn't
You don't want to go down that.
No, you don't. I didn't have to touch the brakes once. Basically, I've got a 3-stage Jake brake here, and I haven't gone past stage 2 because it would slow the truck down too much. I was actually getting on the throttle going down the hill because I was getting slower than moving traffic. But sketchy road conditions, super windy out. We're getting little tornadoes of snow coming by, and I saw tractor trailers going down the road like this, like pretty much sideways. There was a 1-ton pickup towing a stacker, an ATC stacker, a new one, like a 22-footer, and it was a single rear wheel F350, which has 475 horsepower. See where it says next 4 miles, steep grade? I got out of the truck at the last truck stop after going down the mountain and checked my tires and my brakes on the trailer and the truck. Well, they were stone cold because we didn't use them. You don't even have to use the brakes. This truck has brand new front brake pads, and they zeroed out the brakes. They put all new brake pods on, brake pads, and the entire brake system was new last year. And the pads are like on this thing, they're about 1 inch thick, not like a regular pickup truck where they're maybe 3/8 of an inch thick or a 1/2 inch. They're 1 inch thick like that. You're supposed to get 500,000 miles on them out of a set of brakes on one of these, which basically means in the lifetime of this truck, I'll never replace the brakes. My average brake life, now I've been towing 1-ton trucks, well, since the beginning, since 1984, I had a 1-ton GMC van, and my average lifespan, see how the wind's blowing over here?
Yeah, they just said snow squalls.
The snow squalls, which is not good, and I'm not worried about it at all. The average brake lifespan on my 1-ton American trucks is about 12,000 miles, and it's not expensive. If you have a shop do it, you're looking at today $1,500 to redo a whole set of disc brakes front and rear with new rotors and pads, and usually they say the calipers are messed up, so it's $1,500, $2,000. If you're doing a lot of miles, that adds up pretty damn quick. So one of the other reasons, it really is about safety with the HDT. Never do you feel like you don't have enough horsepower going up the hills or enough braking power going down them. In fact, you don't even need the brakes with the Jake brake. Now, I do use the brakes in town. You know, if I want to stop at a light, or I push the clutch in to stop smoothly, I'll use the brakes, but they're not getting abused like they are on a gas truck. Now both of my Ford 6.7s have Jake brakes on them, or exhaust brakes, not a Jake brake, it's an exhaust brake. And so did my 2007 Ram 3500 diesel dually, which we just auctioned off. It sold for $37,500 at auction. A 2007 with 150,000 miles on it, because the truck market is crazy. You can buy yourself a pretty damn nice HDT for $37,500. You know, in that, if you want a real nice one, you're going to spend probably $50,000 to $100,000. But it's about the cost of a dually pickup. The long-term expense of running one is going to be a lot less. The maintenance, the oil changes, you can go much longer because it's got gallons of oil, not quarts. And the tires on this thing, well, it's got new tires on the front, 2021s. The rears were put on it in 2017. They look brand new. The fronts are brand new. You should get, depending on how you drive in the terrain, you should get a couple 100,000 miles out of a set of tires. So your tire, you guys, if you're watching this on the HDT forum, you already know that. But if you're thinking about getting an HDT to tow your RV, we've got a 24,000-pound DRV full house triaxle 46-foot toy hauler in the back here hauls 100 gallons of water, 3 motorcycles, and lots of cargo. So, and it has its own brake system. It has a 4-ride disc brake system, but it's not like an air brake system like you're going to have on this with the Jake brake. So that's phase 1 right there. That's stage 2. Here's stage 3. Stage 3 gives you the maximum braking horsepower. I'm not sure what the rating is, but check this out. See this railing right here? Somebody flew off the road right here. You see this kind of shit when you're coming down the mountain in my F350, and you know, and the tail's wagging the dog. You're starting to get that tank slapper feeling, like on a motorcycle that's out of control. Yeah, you know, it can be a little unnerving, and it's more stressful. I drove this thing 500 and something miles yesterday, and I'm not getting fatigue on my back on my Ford F350, my XLT. My back would actually, I had back surgery in 2017 from a motorcycle accident, dirt bike accident, but my back would get really tight. With this air ride seat, it's adjustable up, it's adjustable down. It's got like 6 different adjustments for lumbar and side support. So you can actually put this seat, I'm 6'2", I can put this seat so far up that my feet aren't even touching the ground. They're dangling like a little kid off a chair, or I can lower it farther down. And what that does is it gives you the ability to change the circulation in your leg. Also, at 57 years old, sitting in the truck for 10, 11, 12 hours on a long trip from Florida, or this time from Texas to Connecticut, which is well over 2,000 miles, my legs and my feet would actually swell up from lack of circulation, which can cause a blood clot and other health issues. I'm not getting any of that because with this truck, I can adjust the seat anytime I'm comfortable. And the armrest, that's dual armrest, it's completely adjustable, and the steering wheel is completely adjustable. So I also broke my shoulder on a dirt bike accident last June 5th. I haven't had any problems with my shoulder at all. We're driving my 6.7, my 6-speed, my 5.9 6-speed Cummins. After, driving cross country, my arm my shoulder would start bothering me. I haven't had any problems with my shoulder driving this because it's supported by the armrest. The steering wheel is completely adjustable. This is a 2002 model. Don't be afraid of buying an older HTT if you buy a quality unit like this Volvo right here. They haven't changed the cab on this thing up until 2019. It was the same door panel from 97 to 2019. For 22 years they made the same door. Why? Well, like my dad used to say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's a good design. These Volvo cabs are the only fully integrated cab on the market that doesn't have stamped pieces together, like where they're huck bolted together. It's the only all steel truck cab on the market. Whereas if you buy a Peterbilt or a Kenworth, you're getting aluminum and a combination of fiberglass, depending on the brand you get. A fiberglass sleeper. This is an all steel cab. The only downfall to that is if you live in the Northeast like we do and they salt the roads, you got to keep it clean so there's no rust. They rust out underneath the doors and underneath the lip of the sleeper. This one has no rust because it's from Texas. It's a Texas truck, and it only went to Montana in the summer and was stored indoors. So find a clean, rust-free truck. This one has 666,000 miles, but it's a Cummins ISX 500, which has no DEF, no diesel DPF, diesel particulate filter. It's got no E-log on it, so you don't have to register how long you're driving on it. And it's a free-breathing, catalytic converter-free, simple diesel motor that is infinitely. I'm actually going 10 miles over the speed limit. Don't even realize it. I'm gonna put my cruise control on here. You can get going 75, 80 miles an hour on this thing. My GPS will tell me when I'm speeding, usually. But this is a construction zone. At least slowed it down to 55, so GPS didn't pick it up. But the truck, it's relaxing to drive. It's a very comfortable environment. The air conditioner, the heating system is far superior than any one-ton truck I've been in. I was actually getting smoked out of the top bunk last night because Christy and the kitty slept in the bottom bunk. I slept in the top bunk. It was so hot. But it has windows on both sides. So you can open the windows, get ventilation. It's kind of like a little camper. If you're going to the races for the weekend, or if you have your 1-ton fifth wheel towed behind you and you've got it set up in a campground or 46-foot toy hauler or whatever camper you have, you can take this for the day or for a weekend trip, and you've got beds in it. It's got a microwave. It's got a 2800 watt, 1800 watt inverter. So you've got 110 outlets. You've got 12 volt outlets everywhere. You got cup holders everywhere. You've got air conditioning. You've got heat. You've got the microwave. You've got a refrigerator, and you got a porta potty. So you got pretty much everything you need to survive on the road. I'm not sure I'd want to spend 3 months in one. I'm sure Christy and the kitty would prefer the camper, but
Yes. If you want to live in the truck, you can. I won't. But we'll live in the camper for sure.
what are your thoughts after spending a week in this? We've been living in this thing and driving for a week now.
Oh, I love it. I definitely don't want to give it up. I want to keep it.
We were going to put this up for sale, but we bought the DRV and I was going to tow it behind my F450 because I got a new F450, and I figured it's a 20-year-old truck. It's going to have issues, this and that. Well, every single light inside this truck works. Every light on the exterior works. It runs and starts beautifully. Doesn't miss a beat. The brakes, tires, everything are new. There's no rust on it. The paint looks beautiful. It far exceeded my expectations. So we're thinking we might keep it now and maybe sell one of my 1-ton trucks, which I can probably get. My 2016, I can probably get 35 grand for it pretty easily, maybe a little more.
I feel much safer in this truck pulling the DRV because, like you said, yes, your 450 can pull it no problem. It's the stopping that I worry about. If you have to stop, that thing's gonna go over the truck.
Oh yeah, you can smell the brakes when you come down a steep hill. If you use the brakes on the 1-ton truck, you can smell them burning. We have not used the brakes. We haven't needed to use the brakes. If I did, it's just because I forgot I got a Jake brake. Just out of mere habit, or if I was in the city traffic. But it's really quite remarkable. Now these motors are good for multi-millions of miles. Typically, an ISX 500, it's a 15.2 liter motor. It weighs 3,000 pounds, which is 3 times the weight of a 1-ton 5.9 liter Cummins. 3 times the amount of metal in it, and it also has more than 3 times the torque. This has 1,850 foot-pound of torque, and my 07 5.9, I think it had somewhere in there 600-700. I don't remember. I don't know off the top of my head. I do know that my F450 has 1,000 foot-pound of torque, so this is 85% more torque, which is the power that gets you moving. It's not so much the horsepower. Torque is the force that pulls you up the mountains without downshifting. We're going through the mountains here, and if I'm doing 65, it won't downshift. It'll just go right up the mountain. So the motor's under stressed. We haven't revved the motor over 1,800 miles in 2,000 miles from pulling this rig, so it's just torquing along. The motors easily can be rebuilt. The parts are still available. Cummins has been making this same motor for over 20 years, the ISX series. This is a red top ISX. I've got full service records on it. It's a 2-owner truck before I got it, so we're like, well, wow, this thing far exceeded our expectations. And one thing I thought about, guys, and if you've watched all the videos on the HTT channels, they talk about the ease of driving it, and I'll reiterate, compared to the 1-ton truck, this thing turns tighter than my 1-ton F350. About the same as my F450. The F450's got a wide track, tighter turning radius. So the steering radius on this thing is very sharp. It will turn on a dime, and it's got a short wheelbase because it's been singled out with single axle with a 219 wheelbase. And you got tons of storage. You've got a massive drum box on the back with a huge toolbox on the back, on the outside. Tons of storage on the inside, like ridiculous. Everywhere you look, there's cabinets. There's nothing in 90% of the cabinets here. And then on the drum box outside, you've got we have a 50-foot hose reel that goes from the truck to the onboard compressor, so you can air up all your tires on your motorcycles or whatever, or if you want to use it to blow out your interior, you can. So it has the compressor hose. It's got the storage boxes. I've got gas cans in there, empty gas cans if I want to pick up fuel for the generator or something when we're on the road. Massive storage boxes, 4 of them underneath this unit, which are almost as much storage as we have in the basement of the toy hauler. It's about the same, and that's just in the rig. Where in your pickup truck, I threw everything in the bed of the truck, and we'd watch the rearview mirror. Sometimes it'd be blowing around and stuff, and it's getting rained on. This is all locked up in the storage locking bays. So blessed to get this truck from Don, and he had it 16 years. Had it all set up. Heron Haulers did the bed. It's got a TSR 4 airbag, 32,000 pound air ride for the trailer. It has air ride on the cab with new air ride bags and air ride shocks. It's got air ride seats. It's got four-way air ride between the hitch, the suspension, the seats, and the cab. So you go over some massive bumps and you don't get your teeth knocked out. And everything's staying nice in the trailer. It's not getting beat up. The trailer has the more ride independent suspension. So, and the thing looks badass. Did I mention that? It's big, black, badass, and it's got a nice air horn so people hear you coming. From a safety factor, you can also see over the vehicles in front of you, where when you're at a 1-ton, you can't see in front of the pickup ahead of you, so you don't know when they're going to brake. The field of sight is much better. The mirrors, you've got 6 mirrors on this thing, 2 on each side and 2 on the front. The front ones are nice because they show you the blind spots. And because this is a slope nose, now Uncle Dale, he wouldn't be caught dead in a slope nose. He's a gear-built long nose. It's kind of like the Harley guys who only ride a Harley. And then there's some guys in Honda Goldwings who are going, hey, a Honda Goldwing's better. Well, if you look at the motorcycle world, this Volvo is the Goldwing of trucking, because it does pretty much everything besides pull better than most other trucks, arguably. And I'm not throwing anybody else's truck under the bus, but I will say that I've been taking an inventory of trucks at every truck stop I go to. I got a little OCD, right? And I actually count. We'll take a ride through. There'll be 100 trucks. 95 of them are slope noses like this. Only 5 will be the long nose because of the aerodynamics and also the ability to navigate in tight loading docks and tight city streets. If you're not a seasoned veteran, a tighter turning race is going to make it easier. And I'm not a seasoned veteran. I got my CDL literally 2 months ago, which I don't even need for this truck because it's registered and insured as an RV. It has motorhome title on it, so for private use only. But I do have my CDL Class A because I am going to be hauling a 53-footer with a Kenworth T800. Christy, we sat in all the trucks at the show. You sat in the Kenworth. What was your, compared to this cab?
I like our cab the best. The newer ones, I didn't like the seats, and I didn't like how closed in it is on some of them in the cab. It's too confined, it felt like.
If you measure the door-to-door distance on this over a T800, our other truck that we're going to be getting for hauling motorcycles for the business, and a new W900, you'll find that there's at least 8 inches. It might be, the cab might be a foot wider. And if you measure the square footage of the windshield, length times width, this has got to be 50 to 75% more glass space, which gives you a much greater field of view. It gives you a much greater, if you're cruising in an RV on vacation, you want to see the sights, it gives you a better, you feel like you're driving a Class A motorhome. And I've owned 3 Class A motorhomes. I'm no newbie to this. You know, being a motorcycle racer, we're kind of like gypsies. We travel to, like a traveling circus, carnies, whatever you want to call it. We travel to different states every weekend chasing points, just like the national circuit, but on the local circuit. So we're on the road a lot and having a comfortable, you know, the Class A's I had a 36-foot Discovery diesel pusher. I had 2 country coaches, which are considered the hallmark, the best. I had 2 40-footers. I had a 2000 and a 2001. wheelbase, and I learned the hard way that if you have too long of a wheelbase, you're going to have troubles getting in and out of places. Not with this thing. We took it out to dinner. We parked right in Texas Roadhouse in one spot, right?
Yep.
We took it. Where else did we go in it?
Everywhere. You went everywhere in this thing.
We actually cruised around the Mid-American Truck Show, around the acres and acres and acres. If you go, make sure you have a vehicle to drive around, because the real show isn't inside the buildings, which kind of just paraphrasing there, but the real show is outside, because there's literally thousands of real world trucks in the parking lot. So if you want to see what they're driving, what the truck drivers are driving, bring a mini bike, bring a motorcycle, bring a Kawasaki KLR 650 or a Brom or something, and zoom around and check it out. You can really see some amazing stuff at the show in the parking lot. So anyways, Chrissy's hands are getting tired from holding the camera. I could talk all day about it. I got a lot to say about the subject. I'm as obsessed about RVs and trucks and trailers as I am motorcycles. Junior doesn't want me putting this content on our motorcycle channel, so I'm putting it on the Kaplan Cycles channel instead of the Kaplan America channel. So if you like the content, hit the like and subscribe. There'll be a lot more of this coming down the pipe. Thanks for watching. And as we cruise the great state of America on our way back to Connecticut, we're about 329 miles from the museum. We're on our way back. No better time to say God bless you all, love you all, God bless America.